What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Daily Grind Grizz Win Edition. What's up, Art King Meeks? Already in the comments this morning. Wayno, how we doing today, guys? I got my guy, Uncle Buck, as we are filling in for Luke this morning. Drew, how's it going on this wonderful, foggy Tuesday morning?
I mean, hey, if I survive getting the kids and wife out the door on time without getting hit, then it's a good day. And it was close today, but we got there. That's all that matters. The final score showed the win, and we're not going to look at the box score about this morning.
Exactly. Not like last night, which was we want to look at the box score because there was a lot of good things. The box score in the Gann household this morning was just about survival.
It's just, one day at a time. You got to win each day. And this morning we won. So that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. But speaking of winning, last night the Memphis Grizzlies got an emphatic win over longtime rival San Antonio Spurs, 128-109. And there was a lot to be excited about in the win last night, Drew. Like I said on Twitter just a few minutes ago, Grizz got a win. Ja was having fun. Jaren is awesome. Gigi had a comeback game. Zach Edey might be turning the corner. Like, there was a lot of good things to talk about last night. So what were your – first of all, we do need to say thoughts and prayers to the individual who was having the medical event at the beginning of the game. That's a tough scene. It delayed the start by 30 minutes, which is, minor compared to what him and his family were going through. I don't know any details. It's not my business to share them, even if I did. But just thinking about that family this morning, as that's got to be something tough to go through for sure.
Yeah, that's obviously a tragedy. You don't know. I know Taylor Jenkins said in the post-game press conference that things looked okay or was looking better, but thoughts and prayers. I mean, nobody goes to a Grizzlies game, especially, sitting in those seats where it's just like, you're right there, man. It's something I dream of doing one day, and you just don't go thinking that something bad is going to happen. And so thoughts and prayers for that family and everyone around, and appreciate the first responders and everybody that was there to get there quickly. And so, but yeah, listen, the Spurs are nothing compared to us. Yeah. Or they weren't last night. We've played the Spurs 3 times this year. We have a 14-point win, a 28-point win, and a 19-point win. And all 3 of those games, if my memory serves me correctly, it was relatively close at halftime, around 10 or less at halftime. And you've really, shut the door on them, and that's what good teams do. Now, next time we play San Antonio, I'm a little scared.
It's going to look a lot different next time.
Yeah, next time.
Last night, Wayno brings up a good point here. Castle does look amazing for them. Stephon Castle is a great rookie, playing really good offensive basketball. It's been going really well for him in San Antonio, and I think De'Aaron Fox is going to make him better. But there was a lot to like last night, even when we're still waiting on guys to come back, with Vince finally getting a doubtful. Marcus is doubtful. Might get to see some of them play this week. Big shout out to Grizz Girl being here this morning. Thanks for being in the comments. Welcome back, Ja and Gigi freaking Jackson. Big games from 2 of our stars last night. Drew, let's start with Ja. We had some vintage Ja last night. Ja finished the game with 25 points in 29 minutes. He had a double-double, 11 assists last night for the point god, as he was being called on Twitter last night. Just a great, we saw some behind-the-back passes. That no-look, turn-around, trot down the court pass to Trip was amazing. Hyping up the LaRavia dunk. I feel like we got more Ja last night than we've been getting lately.
I got out of my seat last night when he hit the behind-the-back pass to Jaren going down the lane to get the and one. I was out of my chair. It was so nice, and it just goes to show you. And I try to be this way. However, we do a show at least twice a week, sometimes 3 or 4 with the Daily Grind, and you want to be fresh. You want to have stuff, and we're in it every single day, every single game. We live and die with it. That's what we are as fans. And so I always, given that and how we have a propensity to overreact as fans because we love it so much, I always do try to put the caveat, but next game it could all change. And that's what happened last night. You had, I believe, at one point in the 4th quarter, I'm sure these numbers aren't right anymore, but all right, so you've got 56 plus, how many did Gigi had 56 plus 27, 75 points from those three players, 85 points. And it was just incredible. Ja was having fun again. You know, there was a lot of rumors flying around. It was just good to see it. And Gigi, as Daniel and Nate dubbed him last night, Girthy Gregory, had an amazing game last night, coming out party. Just a fun game. It's a game that it was fun from start to finish. You just had a good time watching it. Even got some Yuki minutes at the end.
Got some Yuki minutes at the end. You had a great Zach Edey game last night. Zach Edey joins Luka Doncic, kind of appropriate, as the only rookies in NBA history to record a 16 plus points, 14 plus rebounds, 9 plus defensive rebounds, 3 plus steals, and 1 plus assists. Finished with a team high 25 plus minus. Now, it doesn't tell the whole story, because you were right in the group chat last night. You were right. It didn't start very well. He did not look playable early in the game, but was able to kind of find his rhythm again, being around the rim, had a couple really nice putbacks, a couple oops. If him and Jaren can figure out that post lob, which we got a little bit of that last night, Edey will be a threat down low. Finished with 16 points, again, 14 rebounds, 58% from the field, and no fouls guarding Wemby last night. Edey looked much better down the stretch, and then for the time that he played, for sure.
I'll be honest, no fouls is a demerit in my book. Like, you're 7'5" and playing Wemby, you better get some skin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is he couldn't touch Wemby. If they were playing tag, Wemby would have him in a pretzel. He struggled mightily at the pick and roll, and it seemed like to start the game, they had a game plan. Okay, if Edey's out there, we're pick and rolling him until they get him off the court. And there was a stretch there where it felt like 4 or 5 plays in a row that they were putting Edey in a pick and roll. And the higher the pick and roll, like if they were to do a pick and roll below the 3-point line then he could probably recover. But they're spreading that thing out and letting the roller and the ball handler just get a full head of steam there. They're going to have to do something, show harder. You know, the off guy on the screen defense is going to have to show harder or something when Edey is in that pick and roll, because he just cannot recover. And
it got better as the game went on. And then we started giving them a taste of their own medicine, was what I was wanting to say. They turned it around, and we started doing more pick and rolls for Ja last night, including the first offensive set of the game. We started giving them some of their own medicine back.
Yeah. I believe to start the game, it was Ja going for the first, and this is the last 2 or 3 games I can remember. Ja getting the first run at it, getting downhill to start the game with a pick and roll. And then the second play of the game, they put it to the wing and let Edey post up, and then they feed the hand. And so it was just a fun game. And we could talk about Edey, we could talk about Ja, but Jaren once again is just an absolute all-star. I did some Photoshop yesterday. If you guys want to go find my Twitter, I would, if it became, to quote Mark Cuban, if it was between my wife and Jaren Jackson Jr., you would find me at my attorney's office drawing up papers. You know, like he was just absolutely amazing, and it looks easy. Like, it doesn't look like he takes a hard shot. That's how fluid he is on offense now. Even when he's banging in the middle and getting to that little half hook, like, it doesn't look hard. It looks like he's just bigger and better than everybody.
And it didn't matter where he was out on the floor, corner 3, driving in the lane, trailing 3, everywhere he gets the ball, I just assume it's going to go in. If he continues to carry this team, and again, I understand, like, in a vacuum, but there's an episode a few weeks ago, the 2 Buck Sports Show, where I talked about where he is the best player on this basketball team. And if he continues to carry us like this, there's going to be real conversations about him being one of the best players in the league on an all-NBA team. He could be playing his way to a second-team all-NBA as we watch. The big fella finished with 31-6 last night in 31 minutes, 10 of 21 from the field, 8 of 9 free throws. Jaren just continues to play at an absolute elite level against good competition. Against Wemby last night, there were moments where he was getting buckets in the paint on Wemby or getting him to foul him. And either one is a win with trying to, get Wemby in foul trouble, getting him off his game. Jaren plays well against the Bucks, well against Gobert, and so far this year he's played really well against Wemby.
Yeah, Wemby he's just not big enough yet. And Jaren used to be that guy. Now, he wasn't 7'5", but he was that stringy rookie, second year guy.
Mhm.
And he's grown into his body. And now Wemby's that guy that just can't absorb a shoulder to the chest. Like he's just not built for it yet. And he'll get there. And when he does, God help us all.
It's gonna be ridiculous.
Jaren Jackson Jr., who in a back-to-back games where he's going up against Giannis and Brook Lopez, and say what you want about Brook Lopez, the journalists love him, and then Wemby, who is just the lankiest, he's leading the NBA in blocks, and just going off against both of them is extremely impressive.
Yeah, Wayno, you don't know how much this speaks to my heart as a young NBA fan. The first pair of basketball shoes I ever got were Shawn Kemp shoes. They were black and green. They were white with black and green arches. So this speaks to my kid at heart, being a big Shawn Kemp fan.
Yeah, but Jaren does not jump like Shawn Kemp does.
No, that's the thing. He can't jump out of the gym.
Today.
Yeah, I don't know that he ever could. But the Grizzlies got a great team win last night. Scottie Pippen Jr. has been playing lights out, especially late in the last two games. Erwin, I see in the comments, we're going to get to trades in a minute, guys, I promise. But, Pip, like we were talking, we need to trade for a backup point guard. We need to get some more help. All he's done in the last two games is just be an absolute steal machine, a menace on defense last night. Once again, finishing with 5 steals, some big ones down late. Luke got several steals down the stretch. We got another kind of inconsistent Luke game. He didn't shoot the ball super well last night.
He didn't shoot the ball.
Yeah, well, he was 0 for 3, and then he decided, I'm not going to shoot anymore from 3. But like, watching some of our role players continue to play well, and Jalen played well last night considering what he was doing, trying to guard people. Wasn't great offensively last night. He had a decent defensive game. You're going to have those from the rookie, but I feel like our depth last night played better than it has recently, especially with John Conchar and Jake LaRavia hooping for scouts, playing for possible trades and minutes elsewhere. It was fun to see some of the role players get some run last night.
Yeah, Jake LaRavia plus 17.
What a dunk, too. That dunk, man, that got the team like electric on that little side dunk. It was incredible.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what's going forward. This team is good, and we spend way too much time and overanalyze the losses. So we need to do better. Yeah. As a fan base, we need to do better. We need to enjoy this. Some of you people don't have fun watching Grizzlies basketball. Yeah. And I can't be that. I'm not that guy. I don't know how I don't know why you watch 82 games of basketball looking for something to be mad at. But
that's it.
No more.
Do yourself a favor and stay out of some of the spaces. Those are gross, dark places where cesspools of negativity just kind of grow. Come hang out with us on BluffCityMedia.co. You've got us now. You got us at 12 o'clock noon today. You've got Grizz 901 postgame show that comes on after weekday games. You've got No Bluffing on Sundays and Mondays. You've got Night Court on Wednesdays, Anthony Zane Show Wednesday, Friday. Like, there's so much good Grizz content. There's Memphis Tigers content. There's a 901 soccer podcast. Like, spend less time in negative spaces. Spend more time with positive faces like us. Hey, at least I didn't give you a pun, right? At least I didn't give you a pun, right?
Thank you.
I've got one cooking. I'm waiting for the right moment. But we all know, Drew, I think something kind of big happens on Thursday this week, right? Like I've heard some rumblings. Like, what's going on this week?
Thursday is half price nachos at the Mexican restaurant. So if y'all heard about that, I'm surprised it traveled so far. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Thursday is the day we all Grizz fans have been longing for a long time. With the trade deadline looming for the NBA, there's a lot of rumors. I've seen Daniel Gafford's name in the comments already. I've seen John Collins in the comments already. But one that is coming up recently is the Phoenix Suns are starting to shop one Kevin Durant. And so, Drew, we've been linked to Jimmy Butler. We've been linked to Kevin Durant in the past. Like, what is your initial thoughts? Is Kevin Durant somebody that we should pursue in a trade?
Well, first, has he actually been made available? Like, I feel like this is pure speculation. I haven't seen anything.
I've seen a couple tweets where they said that the Suns are listening and that Golden State wants him. Like, I've seen some of those, and one of them was NBA Central, not Centil, but Central. And so I've seen some people talking about it.
Quick answer is yes, absolutely. You're talking about the single greatest offensive player that's ever played in the NBA, the Slim Reaper, 7-foot shooter. Like, you just cannot. I cannot find a scenario in which I wouldn't absolutely adore Kevin Durant as a Memphis Grizzly. Like, it's just it won't happen.
Wayno says the best. Yes, You don't say no. Yes.
I mean, that's pretty much it. And at this
Yeah.
point in his career, he's, I believe, 36 years old.
Mhm.
I don't know what Phoenix probably wants picks, I would think, because they have
Mhm.
none.
None.
You remember they made a trade with Utah. They sent them a first in the future so they could just get 2 first-round picks now. You know, and
Mhm.
you thought that was for the Jimmy Butler trade. And obviously the problem with the Jimmy Butler trade for Phoenix is that you've got to get off of either KD or Beal, and nobody wants Bradley Beal.
Mhm.
And so I guess Phoenix just has to decide, do they like their team of, you know, Booker, KD, and Beal, or do they like a team of Booker, Beal, and Butler, the 3 Bs?
Mm.
Those, all 3 of those people play the same position. Like, I
That's the problem.
wouldn't want that. You know, if I'm
That's
a
a log
Phoenix
jam.
fan, I just feel like I'd rather, you know, just eat Beal's money now,
Mhm.
and because Bill still has to sign off on it. I think he would
Mhm.
sign off going to Miami in this 3-team trade we're talking about. But I'm not giving up GG. I'm not giving up Ja, Jaren, and Desmond, obviously. Outside of that, for Kevin Durant, I think I'd ship just about any of them. And I don't even know his contract details. You talk, I'll look up his contract.
So I think you're going to get Kevin Durant. It's going to cost you one of those guys, Desmond Bain, a GG, somebody like that, because they're going to want some talent back. And then 2, like, it's still going to likely be a rental, maybe a year or 2. Are you willing to give up a core piece for a rental? That's been my big thing when it came out about Jimmy Butler, that we had withdrawn from some of the talks because they wanted GG or they wanted Jalen. That's the best move we could have made, because there is no point in trading a rookie, or excuse me, a young core piece that could be a part of this team for a long time for a rental in Jimmy Butler. You can make it work with Marcus, Luke, Santi, Jake, Jitty, somebody, Pip, Huff, somebody in that tier, you do it. But if you're going to have to give up a core piece for a rental like Jimmy Butler, I don't think you would do that. Bradley Beal has also said he would go to Milwaukee if Milwaukee would get in on the deal to get him out of Phoenix. But I just don't know that I'd be willing to give one of those core pieces for Butler. Now, KD is a different story. I think he has a couple years left on his deal. Drew, did you find it?
Yeah, so he's currently making $51 million this season. Next year, he makes $54.7 million. And then in 26-27, he's an unrestricted free agent. So I don't see anything as to maybe since next year is the last year of a contract, I don't know if there's a player option in there that he could opt out after this season. I don't see that right now. But next year is the last year of a 4-year, $194 million contract.
Yeah. I mean, that's wild. King Meeks is saying he ships Bain, Smart, Williams, Picks, and Daniel Greer and Luke Kennard if it got us Kevin Durant. You've been trying to trade DG all morning, King Meeks. I see you there. But KD
he's
is
mad because they didn't do trivia last night
Yeah.
on the post-game show.
KD is a professional scorer, and if you give Ja another outlet like you've got in Jaren, who, by the way, in 24 hours put up 31 points against Giannis, or 37 against Giannis and 31 against Wemby, you add in Kevin Durant to that mix, like, all you got to do is go stand at the perimeter. KD, we don't need you to do anything else but hit middies and hit threes, and like that's a championship contending team, no doubt.
That's a death lineup. I mean, you're talking about the length that it gives you. Now, I know you're basically taking Edie out of the game at this point, but you could throw in Edie for a massive long lineup against teams that like to drive or whatnot. But it's you do this, and then you go back to a more traditional offense where you can have. Can you imagine having Jaren set a screen and rolling and have KD and Bain on either wing? You know, it's just like,
good
what
luck.
do you? Yeah, good luck. So yeah, I know that we talked a lot because this is not the first time Kevin Durant has come up in Grizzlies circles. It happens. It seems like it's an evergreen idea, you know. And we've talked about before, how does he's a locker room cancer is what he's been called before. And he's been, you know, he's forced his way out of every single place he's been in. And all those are true. However, like, I feel like he likes Memphis. He's obviously got a good he respects Memphis from his time at Oklahoma City and those playoff battles. I listened to him on Out the Mud podcast. It's a phenomenal. He's a good dude. Like, I know he's weird. He's got Twitter fingers and he's funny on Twitter, and he used to seem to care way too much what people thought. However, he just seems like a grounded dude for a dude who's made over $500 million in the NBA. And so, yeah, I would take a shot with him way before I take a shot with Jimmy Butler.
Agreed, because the on-court pride, like he's never quit on a team. Like he might be a locker room cancer, and like you said, he's got probably at least a dozen burner accounts. But like the on-the-court product is hard to argue with for Kevin Durant. Art brought up a good point a few minutes ago. I want to bring this up. So he has a list of people he wants to keep, and I want to see if your list is the same. So he said we got to keep Ja, Bane, Wells, Jaren, Edey, Pip, Vince, Gigi, Clark, and Huff. Do you agree with this list, or is there some people on this list that you would listen to offers for?
It depends on the players, is the obvious answer. But if we're talking about a guy like Kevin Durant, I would cross Wells, Edey, Pippen, Vince, Clark, and Huff off the list. It's a very small list of players that I wouldn't give up. I would not touch the big three. I would not touch G.G. Jackson Jr., and I would like to keep either Jalen or Vince. But you pick one of those, and I'll ship off the other one.
For KD, yes. But in regular circles, like for me on this list, the keepable, like the must keeps are Ja, Bane, Wells, Jaren, Edey, Vince, Gigi. BC is fringe. I love BC. A lot of nostalgia, but like Wayno said a few minutes ago, if it turns into a championship for Memphis, my feelings can get over it pretty quickly, as I will be belligerent on Beale Street for that. But I think that like there are guys on here, there are people that want, like, you get in your feelings about it, but like who you want to keep because of nostalgia, BC being one of those. Wayno, I saw you earlier, you want to trade our boy Gigi, and today's a tough day to try and trade Gigi after what he looked like last night on offense.
I missed that.
Yeah, he said earlier, like he was talking about trading Gigi and Wells, or Gigi and Bane and different things. Like it's a tough look to trade Gigi today after what he looked like last night.
I mean, he just stuffed Giannis at the rim 2 days ago. Like,
I mean, that's it. And then put up 27 last night in big minutes, Like, I think I really hope, especially as Luke's kind of coming back down to earth and struggling again, that we roll out a starting lineup of Ja, Jalen, Gigi, Jaren, and Edey on Wednesday night against the Rockets, against the Raptors until Dez comes back. I think that's a pretty solid starting lineup with defense, scoring. I know Gigi's young and still got to figure some stuff out. But that'd be a nice experiment on Wednesday because Gigi is special. He is
special. And I was the one pumping the brakes on him because he's been propped up as the savior of the season as we were going through injury stuff, and after an incredible rookie season in which he didn't play with Ja and Dez, and they did not play serious basketball. Now we've seen him now for a few games, and last night it seemed to click, but that's with Ja and Jaren on the court. You've seen that he has a role, and I'll be a little bit for a little while. I think I want him coming off the bench because I want him to dominate a bench unit. Like I want him to be a heavy usage guy on a bench unit. I think he's unstoppable. Yeah. If he makes his mind up, he's getting to the rim. You just better get out of the way. It's Giannis-esque when he puts his head down, squares his shoulders, and he gets to the rim. That's just that. It's so impressive for a guy that's like 20 years old.
Yeah. And then watching the three ball, like I was telling Maggie against Milwaukee, some of these upcoming games, I'm like, the shot is too good. It's too smooth. It's going to start falling. And then it fell last night. Like he hit a couple big threes last night. He kind of finally started to get in rhythm a little bit, and he looked the part. Defensively, it's been there again, stuffing Giannis at the rim. He's a good guy. He's a good long defender. He's not great, but he's a good lengthy defender. And last night kind of proved that some more. But he played really well. I think Santi's been a part of a lot of closing lineups, but if we end up hanging on to BC, a Jaren, Gigi, BC closing lineup in the post is a pretty strong, tall unit out. BC 6'8", but we all know he plays bigger than 6'8".
You could throw in Santi for BC, and you got another 7-footer.
Yeah. So I think we're all saying that we would make this trade for Kevin Durant. Stay tuned. There's a lot of happenings, a lot of rumblings where there's a lot of smoke here. I think the Grizzlies are linked to a lot of people and a lot of teams and a lot of players. There's a lot of smoke for there not to be any fire. Don't be disappointed if it's just some consolidation trades. It just tells you where we think we are as a franchise. We still have the summer to make a big move. But my spidey senses are telling me that we're not only going to consolidate, but I think we're going to go after somebody because I think we still see where we miss a piece. And for me, I've been banging this drum for a long time. It's Cam Johnson. He had 32 the other night for the Nets. He's not playing the next couple of days. They've got him for some injuries and illness and stuff on the bench. I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but I'm just telling y'all, if we get Cam Johnson, I will be insufferable on whatever show is next. Hopefully it's live on the 2 Buck Sports Show trade deadline edition, but I will be insufferable if we get Cam Johnson, just making y'all aware. Yeah.
And since he hit it, we do our show every single Tuesday and Thursday at noon. This Thursday is the trade deadline. The trade deadline is up at 2 p.m. on Thursday. So the 2 Bucks are going till 2 o'clock. Yes. And if something happened to the deadline, we'll go a little bit further. We'll hang out as long as you guys want to hang out with us, but you're just going to get us for 2 hours. So y'all get in the chat, hang out with us, help us find the things that we're missing as we're trying to do a show and trying to constantly look at Twitter, because you know how trade deadline is. It's active. Mm-hmm. And so we're really looking forward to it. Y'all come hang out with us for 2 hours minimum on Thursday.
Bueno, I'll do the Cam mustache and the fro on the show if we get Cam Johnson. Are you kidding me? I'd do that in a heartbeat.
You couldn't do a Cam fro if you put sod on your head.
You're not that's the thing. My hair is very tight, curly when it gets long. That's why I don't let it get long. So I could grow out a little fro. There's a picture of my dad and it would
look like a cereal bowl. Nothing here.
It just moves up. That's probably actually pretty accurate. Like if you took Jonathan Isaac and just cut the top of his head out right here, that's what it would look like. But
this would be an absolute thrill. I mean, if I go into one day, I go into the Grizz Den at the FedEx Forum and see a Kevin Durant jersey, it would be surreal.
Yeah. But yeah, hang out with us on Thursday. We're going to be here walking you to the end of the trade deadline. It might be boring, but hopefully not. I hope we got a lot to talk about. And I think if we've seen anything so far, it's going to be a wild trade deadline. But speaking of watching things for 2 hours, we do watch things other than basketball. And on Tuesdays, we talk about those in Tubin Tuesday. And so this is a segment, if you're new here, your first time listening, where we talk about what we're watching. Because contrary to popular opinion, even though I mostly talk about basketball during my waking hours, we watch other things besides basketball. I'll happily go first. Maggie and I finished the first season of Silo. Amazing. It's a really well done adaptation of the book series that I really like. We've seen the first couple of episodes of season 2, and it's starting to pick up the pace, and things are happening that really propel the story along. The actors are great. It's cool. It's nice when they can make the movies or the TV shows feel like you thought the book would be. For me, it's really brought to life a lot of how I imagine the Silo to look. It's awesome. Check it out. It's really great. And apparently I get to watch a couple hours of The Bachelor and Below Deck and all this stuff on Wednesday because of all the basketball I've made Maggie watch. I'm like, time about's fair play. I'll watch these shows and I'll learn about I'll watch the first minutes of The Bachelor I've literally ever watched in my entire life. I didn't know what Below Deck was until I met Maggie. It's apparently some yacht show that I'll be watching on Wednesday night.
I will say that dudes, we watch a lot of basketball this time of year. If your wife or significant other on a day that the one day a week there's not some basketball you need to watch, you watch whatever she says.
I'll happily do it. I'm gonna cook supper and then we'll watch it. I'll happily do that because I do make her watch a lot of basketball.
Me and my wife watched one season of The Bachelor for the same reasons that we're talking about now, and we had so much fun. Because you just buy in, and all those girls on The Bachelor competing for a dude, they're just the worst. They're the absolute worst. And so there is comedy in that, even though they don't find it very funny.
Right here. Hang on. Wayno right here is absolutely right. You got to pay the hoops debt. It's a real thing. Take care of them. Pay the hoops debt. Hey, Wayno did good. His wife took him to the 2009 All-Star Weekend, so you had to go to a Britney Spears concert. I don't think that's
Britney Spears in 09 sounds like a 2-night event for Wayno. So, I have finished the latest season of The Night Agent. It is really good. I don't know if you saw season 1, but it's one of the most streamed Netflix series ever. And it seemed like somehow it was the most streamed Netflix series ever and went under the radar somehow. But season 2 was really good, just like season 1. When I'm just wanting mindless television, I'm still going through Modern Family, and it is just the best. And so I was trying to think if there was anything else that I've kind of went through lately. I watched my first Royal Rumble this weekend in a
Mm-hmm.
long time. And I'm going to tell you, I won't miss another one for a long time. That thing was awesome.
Yeah.
So we watched the Men's Royal Rumble on Saturday night with the family. And so me and my boy just yelled and screamed at the TV over players of wrestlers that we didn't know other than John Cena. And so, yeah, Royal Rumble was a lot of fun.
Well, hey, listen, thank y'all for hanging out with us this morning. Yeah, absolutely. You got to see.
This isn't something Brittany. You have to do. This is something you get to
got
do.
to see, Brittany. Exactly. Not had to do. Exactly. Well, hey, listen, hopefully you're not as worried as Anthony Edwards was last night, where he was like, scared. I'm scared, dog. Tim, if you're going to trade me, let me know, dude, in the locker room post game last night. Like, hopefully you're a little bit more safe at your job than some of the guys we watch in the NBA. But enjoy your Tuesday. Come back 12 o'clock noon today. Hang out with me and Drew again. We've got a different, much in-depth show planned for y'all today. I started to say it, but much better show planned for y'all this afternoon. Come hang out with us on your lunch break. Check out the other great shows on this network. And remember to be a friend to somebody who needs a friend today. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will see y'all back later today. Luke will be back tomorrow. And go Grizz.